This is a really hard time of the year for anybody who works in education. Last week, I got to be the parent of a student who was having a hard time. My Sophie was on the bus. She had a plastic Easter egg, which she threw at another student. He threw it back at her and hit her in the head. Her response, typical Sophie, she jumps over the seat and starts beating him up as she would one of her brothers if they threw something at her. So she was suspended from riding the bus for a week, which was a little bit hard to swallow as a parent. But I do know Sophie. I have no doubt that she did what they said she did. And she has to learn you cannot beat people up on the bus, even if they throw things at you. So as summer is coming on, I wanted to share a couple of different behavior tools that I use at home with her. And then I've incorporated one of them to use with her brothers as well. So this is a tool that I use with Sophie and her brothers. How this works is each of them they start the week with $10 each. So that's like their allowance. They start with $10. They each have chores and they each know the rules in the house. So for Eli and Isaac, this is more based on chores. For Sophie, it's more based on behavior. So Eli, right here, I have written dishes. The kid eats in his room 100% of the time when I'm not here, and at least 50% of the time when I am here. One of the rules, though, is that if he's going to eat in his room, he has to throw his trash away in the kitchen, not in his room, and he has to take his dishes to the kitchen. So if I walk by his room and there are dishes in his room, I don't say anything to him. I just come over and I write dishes on here. And then if the night's gone on a little bit and I walk by again, the dishes are still there, I'll write dishes down again. And then I'll say, hey, Eli, you've lost $1. Are you going to go, clean up your dishes? And he usually will. With Isaac, typically, if he loses money, it's because he'll be watching TV or playing a video game, and I'll say, hey, the trash needs to go out. And he will, in typical teenage fashion, ignore me and act like I haven't said anything. So then I would just write trash here. And again, same thing. If a little bit of time goes by and I'll say, you never took the trash out. Usually he'll be like, oh, I forgot. And he'll jump up and do it. And so this is more of a cost response system where they are going to lose something. With Sophie, there is a reason why I do this with Sophie. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on here I marked get up because she is so hard to wake up in the morning. And so what I do is I will, her alarm goes off. She loves for me to lay in bed with her. So I'll get in bed, I'll cuddle with her for a while, kind of shake her a couple of times, and then I'll start saying, Sophie, it's time to get up. If she doesn't get up, then what I do with her is I will set the timer for 3 minutes. I'll say, Sophie, the timer's set. Timer goes off, you need to get up. So if the timer goes off and she's still laying in bed, I'll say, Sophie, I'm marking off 50 cents. You need to get up. Set the timer again. If she's still not up, I'll write it again, set the timer. We go through that process. When Sophie's having a hard time, which she has been having a lot lately, this is the only way that I can kind of give her a consequence in small increments. So she's not losing everything all at once. She's not losing I thought about doing just $5 and then they would lose like $1 each time. Even if I just did 50 cents with that, it's not enough to be an incentive for her to give her enough chances that she needs sometimes to be able to follow through with what I'm saying. So another battle that I have often with her is taking her medicine. And so I'll say, Sophie, I'm setting the timer for 3 minutes. When the timer goes off, you need to be in the kitchen ready to take your medicine. So when the timer goes off, if she's not in in the kitchen, I'll mark on here, I'll just write medicine in one of her little 50-cent slots, and I'll say, you just lost 50 cents. You need to get in the kitchen. Set the timer again. Timer goes off again. She's still not in there. Then I can write medicine again. So it gives me small increments of things as a consequence for her not following through. So this works really well. So what I do at the end of the week is we just add up whatever's left, and whatever's left is what they get for allowance. So she knows that she's in control of how much money she gets. So this is not the best practice way, because we usually want kids to earn towards something. But if that doesn't work, you have to use what works. So for Sophie, this is what works. I will tell you that the just human nature inside of me, for her to be able to have a consequence when she doesn't follow through, it really helps me not completely lose my mind with her most of the time, because she is having a little consequence every single time. And it's not a battle for us, because she knows it's very clear. Timer goes off. You haven't followed through with what I asked you to do. There's going to be this consequence. But it's nothing huge. It's nothing that we have to fight about. It's just that there is something happening when she's not following through. So she knows that there is a consequence to not following through with what you're being asked to do. A different system that I used with Sophie that worked a little bit, but it didn't give me those small increments when she wasn't doing what I needed her to do, is this chart here. So in this chart, it says on the top, it says Sophie is working for. And so we would have like predetermined something that she wants to work for. So maybe it's a Lego set. And so I would just write Lego set on top. And then down the sides, it says wake up, she gets 1. Get dressed is 1. Fix hair is 1. Brush teeth is 1. Take medicine is 3, because that's more difficult to get her to do. Shower is 3, because that's always a battle. And then sleep in her bed all night she gets 5. So every time she would sleep in her bed all night, then I would fill in 5 of these boxes. 3, 4, 5. She gets up in the morning without fussing. She gets 1 there. Gets dressed, I fill in 1. Brush teeth, I fill in 1. So you see how she can earn towards on this one. So it's more of a positive behavior support rather than taking something away from her. And then once she gets all 50 boxes filled in, then she would go and get the Lego set. The problem with this one was, once kids have earned something, so let's say she earned 5 for sleeping in her bed all night, but then I said it's time to go take your medicine, and I would set the timer for 3 minutes, and she still wouldn't be in the kitchen ready to take her medicine. You don't take things away after they have been earned. So if she's already earned these and she's not in there to take her medicine, I wouldn't mark off 3. Those aren't mine to take from her. She already earned those. So that's kind of why I switched to this system for Sophie. So this is, you have the potential to keep your $10. But if you don't follow through with directions, or you don't do what you're asked to do, or the timer goes off and you still haven't gotten dressed, then she's making that choice to lose that. So that's a little bit of a difference between these two things. If I wanted to use something with this with any of my boys, it would have worked beautifully and would have been no problem. Sophie's just different, so I have to do it just a little bit differently for her. I'm going to put these on my website. I'm also, though, if you want to print them off, because all they are, I made them on Microsoft Word. So if you want to sign up for my email, then I will send these to you, and then you can manipulate them however you want to. If you wanted these to be $5 bills instead of $10 bills, if you only have one child and you just need to like have it for one kid and you just need that one column, then you would have kind of the template there and you could make it work however you need it to work for you.